Hello, Matt Sullivan and Sullivan Auctioneers. Join us this Sunday, August 22nd for a customer appreciation dinner, open house, and a live benefit auction. Our lot will be open all day for equipment inspections, and a complimentary dinner will be served starting at 5 p.m. Guest speakers John Kinzenbaugh of Kinsey Manufacturing and Greg Machinery Peterson will be speaking, followed by a benefit auction for Mayo Clinic featuring a 1972 John Deere 4020 diesel tractor. This is an all-original barn find, and 100% of the proceeds go to a great cause. Again, this event is Sunday, August 22nd, starting at 5 p.m., with our two-day online no-reserve dealer and farmer auction kicking off Monday the 23rd, starting at 8 a.m. Central Time.
Hey folks, Machinery Pete here, joined by my good friend Dan Sullivan with Sullivan Auctioneers. Dan, thanks for making time. I know you guys are swamped down there with your humongous sale coming up Monday and Tuesday. What do you got over, is it 2,000 plus pieces on this thing?
Yeah, thank you, Pete. And I know you're swamped too. You're a busy man as well with everything you have going on. But yeah, it's going to be, looks like without a doubt, our largest August sale that we've ever had. There's a big sale, several closeouts, retirements, estates, and just a nice variety. And obviously with what we're seeing in the market trend, we're anticipating a really strong sale.
Yeah, I saw and appreciate the video Matt sent that we posted earlier today about the big auction. And yeah, check it out, folks, sullivanauctioneers.com, Monday and Tuesday, live internet, online bidding there. Now, Dan, I wanted to talk, again, appreciate you making time. There's something happening on Sunday, your customer appreciation event in advance of the sale at your great facility there in Hamilton, Illinois. And thank you for inviting me down. It's going to be so much fun to be there. But you guys are raising money for just unbelievable cause. And a lot of folks in the farm community maybe know the story. Your son, Michael, with Sullivan Auctioneers has been a very tough fight here. What's it been the last year plus, Dan? It's
been exactly a year to the day, Pete, when he first started feeling bad. He had a temperature and was in and out of the hospital kind of here locally for about 3 weeks. And then when we finally went to Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, in your hometown, was on Monday, September 28th is when it all began up there.
And it was leukemia that Michael has been dealing with?
Yes, he was diagnosed with acute lymphoblast leukemia, just a very rare type of cancer. And of the different varieties, or if you will, he had the worst one you could have. It was just a battle of his life, but we're working through it, and we're getting along a lot better.
And Michael has been home now and down back home for a couple months now, Dan, is it?
Yes, the bone marrow transplant was on February 12th, and you're there another 100 days post transplant. So he's been home for a couple months of doing good, cancer free, out and spending time with his family, which when they had their third little child, he and his wife born while he was up there. So it's just a summer that's pretty special to be able to be back with his family.
Well, Dan, knowing you for all these years, I mean, you guys have a heart for rural communities and your customers, your sellers, your buyers, and now Sunday, you guys are doing something amazing to raise money for Mayo Clinic Cancer Research in honor of Michael's fight and the good folks up here at Mayo. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing there Sunday?
Yeah, I'd be glad to, Pete. Thanks for having me on. Again, the type of leukemia that he had was going to require a bone marrow transplant. The doctor walked in the office on the 9th floor at Mayo Clinic on that Monday afternoon, and before the doctor even sat down, he asked Michael, he said, tell me about your siblings. And Michael said, well, I have 2 sisters, and he asked the ages, and were they pregnant, or were they healthy, or would they be a donor? Asked quite a few questions just immediately. And then Michael was telling him, yes, they're close by, and yes, they will do whatever it would take. And he said, well, we're gonna admit you to the hospital here immediately, and you're gonna be here for a long time, and you're gonna be on some very strict chemo, followed by radiation, followed by the bone marrow transplant after the first of the year. And we're like, well, what do you think, doctor? I mean, can you save his life? And he said, and it really makes sense now, Pete. He said, if we didn't think we could save your life, we would not put you through it. We're going to put you through. They were very straightforward and told just was what we wanted to hear. I mean, you want to know the facts. And
Right.
so we said, well, what about the bone marrow? What about a transplant? These my daughters and his sisters, and they said, we'll test them. We like to use a sibling, but we're not real sure we would use them. There's probably only about a 25% chance that one of them would be a perfect match. And they said, we really like a perfect match, but we're going to test them first. And we'll go from there. So they admitted him to the hospital, started chemo. And about Halloween time, I mean, 30 days later, it's on a Sunday morning, the team of doctors would come in routinely and kind of go over things. And they said, oh, by the way, it's kind of in passing. They said, that your sisters, Michael, are not a match. And we're like, oh, darn it. And they said, no, we told you to remember that there would be just a remote chance we would use them, but we always test them first. We'll get a donor out of the worldwide registry. We'll find one. And more than likely it'll be foreign. I doubt it'll be a domestic one. They said, well, why? And they said, well, there's some countries that it's mandatory that you're in the system. And so there's a better chance we'd find one somewhere else. But we're going to check the worldwide registry. Well, we'll find somebody. We'll find someone. We're like, okay, well, about Thanksgiving, another 30 days. They said, well, guess what? We can't find a match. We're pretty devastated. I said, well, now what? And they said, well, we're going to have to use one of your sisters, Michael, one of my daughters. And they said, we're going to retest them a little more in depth. They said, we don't have a choice. We're going to have to use one of them. So after quite a bit of testing, they told us, like within a week, that they're going to use Gracie, my youngest daughter. And they were glad because she was younger. The younger you are, the better. She was 23. No children. Paige, the oldest one, she and her husband have 3 little children, and they said it's just better the younger, better they haven't had any children. And so they said we're going to use Gracie. So they collected her. They call it collecting or harvesting, and then then they ended up doing the bone marrow transplant on the 12th of February. But I guess I'm kind of doing all the talking here, Pete. But what the event, to go back to your original question, Sunday is a complimentary meal. We're going to have ribeyes, and we invite everybody out. Of course, you're going to be there. John Kinzenbaugh is going to say a word or two. And we're also going to auction off this 4020 John Deere tractor. And 100% of the proceeds are going to be going to Mayo Clinic for leukemia research. We talked about doing something at our June auction, and we just thought it was maybe rushing a little bit. We're going to want to get Michael got to feel a little bit better. And the outpour of the community, dealers, families, just everybody's like, this is just great. And so like Michael said, he said, Dad, I'm in favor of doing this. But he said, I don't want a penny of it. He said, I want every penny to go directly to Mayo Clinic for research. He said, now it's about somebody else. He said, the chemo pill that he's taking right now that he'll be on for a while just got approved like in November of 2017. So they're making advances all the time. And Michael's pretty adamant about this and really passionate about getting, more research and making this process, hopefully there's drugs and medicine that the FDA has not approved yet. When they do, it's even going to make things better. So that's what we're doing. Any money that we raise or checks are being made directly to Mayo Clinic. And as you know, Greg, being from Rochester yourself, and how great of a hospital and how compassionate and caring they are. And we just feel like we just had a great team of doctors and the NPs, the nurse practitioners, and just everybody was just so caring. And they see that a lot, but still they take every person individually and take it, it's close to the heart, you can tell.
Right. Yeah, having lived in Rochester for 32 years, my wife Jackie grew up here. Yeah, it's just a lot of really smart, caring people that they're a team and just trying to help people. So again, Sunday night, the night before the auction, inviting people out to come to the facility. Always great fun to come and hang out with you guys and get yourself a steak and visit and look at the equipment. But then actually the 4020, which I think, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a 72 diesel kind of, and it's a barn find type 4020.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting story, Greg. It is a 40, it's a 72 model. Of course, the last year they made in the side console, it's original. And we ended up buying it from it just comes about 5 miles north of our auction site.
Okay.
The family had a farm there that they needed appraised. It was not going to sell. It's going to stay in the family, but they needed to put a value on it for estate planning. So I went up and looked at the farm and then went in the buildings to check the buildings out. And there was an old dilapidated barn. I mean, we were literally falling down. You couldn't even get through the door because the groundhogs had dirt in front of it. I kind of squeezed through and I went in there and turned my light on my phone, and I saw this tractor and didn't even have it in the back of my mind at that time that we were going to end up with it. And I walked out of the barn. I said, "What about the tractor?" And they said, "Well, we have somebody that kind of want it. It can be praising." So Matt and Luke, my nephew, Matt and Luke Sullivan, that handle the high profile machinery sales that know equipment inside and out. I showed them kind of a picture. It was hard to get a picture of it. So we valued it and kind of forgot about it. And maybe a month later, the family, they were from Texas, they called back and said, "Hey, nobody really wants that tractor. Would you entertain an offer?" They said, "Yeah, we'll give you what we appraised for it." So we bought the tractor and just brought it down to my nephew Matt Sullivan's shop, and he cleaned it and professionally. I just give it a once over. We didn't put any paint on it. It's 100% barn find. And we had talked about, when we talked about doing this benefit early on, we were thinking, oh, maybe a gator or something. And Matt, one morning at a company meeting, we had a family meeting. I had my brother Jim, my brother John, my brother Joe, my brother Bill, myself, Luke, and Matt Sullivan, Matt's wife Carla. We were all in this meeting and talking about what to do. And I said, Matt said, "Let's just sell that 4020 on it. Everybody wants a." Obviously everybody thinks one of the best tractors ever made, and everybody wants a 4020, let alone a diesel and a 72 model. And let's just and really try to raise some money for Mayo and to the cancer research, and you get people there the day on that Sunday. They can preview the equipment all day. That's going to be sold over the next 2 days. They can look at the 4020, and then they're looking forward to hearing you and John Kinzabaugh speak. And so it's just going to be a great event, and we just hope we can raise a lot of money for Mayo Clinic.
Oh, that's awesome, Dan. Again, your guys' heart for helping people is boundless. And you're going to have some other items that you're selling also on Sunday night?
Yeah, we do have a handful of items. I think there's 7 total, Greg.
Okay.
If I remember right, I'm trying to think what Matt and Luke gathered up. I think they bought a steel pole saw, couple pedal tractors,
Sure.
A chicken coop. We had a chicken coop on our last sale, and somebody brought in a chicken coop of all things, and everybody wanted this chicken coop. So we had one custom built. We're going to auction off a chicken. So I think 7 items, and there's a link to the Customer Appreciation Day on Sunday, and there's a link on there where they can click on and bid on the 4020 ahead of time, just like everybody. We're gonna have a live auction. I'm going to auction off those items, and we're just excited to be able to try to give back. And that's what my son Michael wanted.
Right. Well, that's awesome, Dan. So again, folks, go to sullivanauctioneers.com, check out the equipment selling Monday and Tuesday. Obviously, great time to be a buyer, but then check out Sunday at 4020. And will that be live on the internet too, Dan, on Sunday evening?
Yeah, it'll be on the proxy bid, and you'll be able to click onto it and follow right along. And
also, Dan, at the event, now on the topic of bone marrow, you and I chatted about this briefly, but when Michael and Mayo Clinic, the leading institution in the world, was struggling to find a match, it's a huge issue here is to get more people in the database. And it's not, and maybe you can speak to it, what your daughter Gracie went through, but it's not like a big old long needle and stuck in a bone or anything. It's a simpler process, isn't it?
I didn't know, Greg. So, if you would have asked me a year and a half ago, before Michael got sick, what do you write down what you think a bone marrow is, or what's it consist of, or a bone marrow donor? I wouldn't have known, Greg. And but the process was, it was unbelievable. It's so easy, and we're going to have I think maybe my sisters. Of course, I'm one of 11 children, And everybody thinks there's just boys in our family, but I do have 4 sisters, and I think a couple of those are going to be sitting at a table and have some kits. It's just so easy to do. To think that you might be able to actually save a life. I mean, just with a swab and to be a match. But my daughter Gracie, a little tiny thing, and the process was so easy. They went in there. There was 4 days that I would take her, and she would go up to the 9th floor. She would get a shot. She came back down and would go back to my apartment the next day. For 4 days, they gave her a shot, just one shot.
Yep.
Just one shot. And what that shot was, it just made her bone marrow just spew out into her blood, just spill out. So the 5th day, they collect her just like you would give blood at a blood donation. So they took the blood, and then she went home. There was no pain. There was no bone biopsy like Michael had to do. It was just, they collected, I believe the days were Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the 26th and 27th, and 28th of December is, I believe, the days that they collected her. So when she went up on Christmas Day, it was kind of funny. She had her phone and she was sitting there waiting to get her shot. And she took a picture, and there was nobody in the picture, just a blank shot. She said, "Merry Christmas to me." And we kind of kidded her about it and said, "Oh my gosh, Gracie," she said, "Dad, this is the best Christmas I've ever had." She said, "To think that I got a chance to save Michael's life."
Pretty powerful stuff there, Dan. And just to think about, again, individuals being able to, save another family or a person is really powerful. So again, hats off to what you're doing there. Can't wait to get down there Sunday. And I know you're going to raise a lot of money here for unbelievable cause. So, and I felt a little bad. You and Michael spent a lot of time here in Rochester the past year. Wish it would have been under different circumstances, but we're so glad to hear Michael is feeling stronger. And again, folks, just go to Sullivan Auctioneers. Check this out Sunday. Unbelievable event. And Dan, any final thoughts?
No, I just want to thank you, Pete, for everything you do. I mean, most of the time we're doing a video, we're talking about a record-setting tractor or combine. And, this morning at 10 o'clock, we sold a farm for $16,000 an acre. And this is just a great time to be in agriculture, but this is a whole different video. It's so more important. It's about life.
Yeah, people coming together and helping each other out. Farm country gets that. And here's another opportunity, folks, to help out our neighbors. So Dan, I look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Thanks, Pete.